Hello，大家好，我是 So Lucky。那今天 CA 终于放出了最后部分开发者访谈啊，开发者采访吧，预告啊，折磨之潮关于高等精灵的这个一个小影片吧，看了一下20分钟不到一点啊，我还没看过，所以和大家一起来看一下，然后录一个算是一个 first impression 的影片吧，来看看他们会整些什么花活出来啊。
Hey folks, welcome back to What's Next. My name's Nestya. I'm Senior Community Manager here on Total War, and today I'm joined
姐
by
们，你这个
familiar
妆
faces.
造
Rich.
Hi everyone, yeah, I'm Rich.
是不是有点睁一只眼闭一只眼？是在 CA 工作这么辛苦的吗？没想到啊。
Melcha.
Yeah, hello, I'm Milcho. I'm the lead battle designer on Tides of Torment, here to bring you all the news about units and battles and all that cool stuff.
And of course, Todor.
Yeah, hello folks.
这几个都是老熟人啊，这个老面孔。
And I'm really excited to be here today and to be able to talk about Tides of Torment and 7.0.
Awesome. Well, as you just mentioned, today we're going to be talking a little bit more in detail about our third faction of Tides of Torment, which is High Elves. But before we dive into that and talk all about that, let's address the delay that we informed our players earlier in July. Todor, can you share a little bit more about that decision?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, we all realize that these have been a bit of disappointing news for our players. But the reasons why we opted for a delay is that we brought the DLC to a playable state. We started playtesting it, we got feedback, and it turned out that it wasn't hitting the quality bar that we had set for ourselves. And this is why we needed more time to ensure that the first day experience for our players is the one that they would like to see.
Yeah.
那就稍微再说两句吧。说真的，我觉得这个 DLC 延期，然后他提早了，也至少提早了1个月和大家说这个消息，而且又没有收钱。说真的，没有必要。我个人是觉得没有必要太苛责这个事情啊，毕竟是说实话是项目管理上的问题啊，谁他妈的工作还没有延期过呢？我觉得团队把产品质量放在更前面是一个好的选择，毕竟第一天大家谁都不想再玩到这个变化之影，对不对？
Absolutely. We know that every character and faction that we add to the game is so important. Everyone's got their favourites, and we just want to do them right and do them justice. So it'll be great to talk about High Elves today and what we're doing there, and how we're bringing a few little extra bits in, sprinkling some extra magic, right? Yeah, we're excited by it.
Todor, do you have a release window for us?
Well, right now we're thinking about releasing Tides of Torment somewhere in late October.
10月下旬，比我想的要晚了那么一点点，那确实这个延期比想象中的要严重啊。其实对我来说还行，因为我10月要出去玩2个星期，10月下旬我刚好回来，对我来说甚至是个好事。
Thank you so much. Thank you for the update. Stay tuned for more information on our socials. Back in July, we revealed that Aislinn is indeed our third legendary lord.
待会海洋领主艾斯林这个事情，我感觉我4月份就知道，他5月份就知道。说实话，我觉得折磨之潮第一个影片发的实在是太早了，才弄出这个情况。
For Tides of Torment, so it won't come as a surprise that we're talking about him today. So tell us more.
Oh, he's one I've been waiting for so long to get my hands on to get into the game, because he's quite different to the High Elves that we've currently got. He is the Sea Lord. He kind of
这个他是海王的这个翻译没问题吗？他是 C 罗的海洋领主。
essentially like the police of the seas, which protects Ulthuan from all the various different invaders, and he rules with very much like an iron fist. He's gonna take people that cause trouble to out the back and sort it out. So he's a tough cookie.
就把他们全宰了呗。
Sorts of interesting
一个海洋暴君啊。
bits and pieces, which I know we've been enjoying working on.
Yeah, quite a bit. What I really like about Aislinn is the fact that he is, efficient, and to the point where he's just being brutal to the enemies of Ulthuan. He's also single-minded and just going after his target, which usually is a real or a perceived threat to the High Elves. And he, on top of that, is a master tactician and a master warrior in his own right.
Yeah, but he really does think that the offense is the best defense.
Yeah.
And preventive strikes on other shores are not something that he is going to be shy of doing, despite of what other high elves are thinking about it. Yeah, we are trying.
稍微一点背景啊，他好像因为一些高金货物被偷到玛丽恩堡，他妈大半夜学习了一波玛丽恩堡，然后还冲上诺斯卡，疯狂砍诺斯卡人，就反正不是那种传统的外交加高金的性格，就是反正就是不管3721先宰一顿再说啊。当然了，就很符合高金傲慢的形象哈。对于这种猴子派系、猴子种族啊，这就真是就这么回事吧。
Trying to represent that in battle as well, where he is going to be one of the good dueler characters, wielding 2 weapons, 1 in each.
哎，等一下，哥们，你也是双剑的？不是章鱼脸，他们换皮，跟章鱼脸一起跳个舞。
He's able to buff up archers and make a really good use of them and make the enemies suffer from range. He's going to be quite awesome.
He would like to take some of that beef to Lockyer, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. Especially in the quest battles that he's going to have.
OK， 神奇任务打章鱼脸。
That's one of the things that we've been adding back into the mix. So as a part of the delay in trying to improve the quality and overall nature of the package, as Milcho said, we wanted to get a little bit more of that narrative in there for each of the characters and acknowledge what we did on Omens of Destruction.
哎，这个是实话。就最近的那个毁灭预兆的那个 DLC 里面，那种 narrative 那种剧情向的东西确实有点少了，就比较直白。不像是那个腐烂王座为什么普遍都觉得做得更好，因为它更有养成感，更有剧情感，会有一长串的任务线，对吧？尤其是那个纳垢那个塔木尔汗一路打一圈的那种感觉。
Where the focus is now on the Mortal Empires, we're not having content in Realms of Chaos, so we want to allow people to have those kind of points to go after, things, little stories to experience, and culminating, as you say, in like what should be quite an epic battle for him. But you don't have to do it. You can also experience the Mortal Empires as you can do at the moment. It's a lovely sandbox experience.
Good old sandbox.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So in that sense, we just touched upon a little bit on the preference, how players can approach it. When it comes specifically to High Elves, so for the players who haven't played this faction before, what can they expect?
真的还有人从来没有玩过高金吗？
And why have you decided to return them to the spotlight in this DLC?
It has been a while since we last updated the High Elves, and we felt that really they're in need for some love. And we know also that a lot of our players really want to play them, so adding this bit of cool content along with various updates related to the overall race was something that was very, very meaningful and relevant for us. Along with Aisling, we are updating the entire race by allowing a form of confederation between the factions on Ulthuan and beyond.
OK， 就是有一个奥苏安岛上的高金互相合帮的机制。
The High Elven factions, and we are also paying some more attention to some of the fan favorite lords out there, really pushing what we have in game to represent better who they are as a character.
Yeah, we really do want to have Teclis be.
OK， 泰哥意思。说到种族重做，如果他们要保留泰哥作为白板的话，泰帝机制需要重做，大重做然后影王可能也需要一点小重做，另外两个倒还好。
One of the greatest mages out there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Balthazar.
那个包子哈是那个金属脸对，因为金属脸后来心术不正学了一些奇奇怪怪的法术。
Yeah, we acknowledged the feedback that we had from Omens, in that we didn't touch on maybe all the characters, all the fan favorites out there. So we wanted to make sure that Tyrion and Teclis have a little feature.
Tyrion 他也要重做 ，OK， 所以说他们认为现在不需要白板派系了吗？
Which really kind of resonates with their characteristics, you know, whether that's towards the Tower of Hoeth and magic, for Teclis and for Tyrion being that kind of astute warrior, protective figure again. So there'll be more on that, hopefully, in the near future. But yeah, each of those will get a little bit of love and attention. And as Todor says, a uniting feature now for the High Elves. So if you want to think Great Book of Grudges and how you could combine and confederate the dwarves, well, this is a similar type of deal for the High.
OK， 他说高兴的互相合帮机制会跟那个仇恨之书的矮人合帮机制差不
So
多。
it should be really good. Yep.
This DLC and this update brings some spicy new units. So I'm looking at you, Milcho.
Oh yes, of course. There's
Who you are excited to talk about today?
There's a ton of units that I want to showcase, but unfortunately we'll be just talking about a few of them right now. But we are finally
天斩者，这没有
bringing
人
the
想不到吧？
Skycutters to the High Elves roster, and this is one of the most anticipated units out there. For those of you that don't know, those are basically flying chariots pulled by a great eagle through the sky, so they can be extremely menacing and shape the tactics on the battlefield. We have two variants of those units. One are just going to be armed
哎，不错哎，这白的好好看啊！
with archers on top that are going to be shooting at enemies.
一个是弓箭
while the
手，
others are going to have bolt throwers on them. So
我操，
imagine
还有一个上面有
having
有
an
bolt thrower
artillery
那个
piece
头
on a
那个火
highly
炮，
mobile sky
弩炮
chariot, basically, and this can be quite exciting. Of course, we are also
会
making
飞的弩
them
炮
as a mount for certain characters.
也会变成坐骑
Not
，OK。
all high elf characters, but Aisling for sure is going to be able to mount one of those and bring it into battle. But this is not all, of course. We are leaning really heavily into the nautical theme with this faction, and so we are adding a lot of other units that are very flavored in that. With this being the Oceanids and their big brother, the Sea Elemental. So basically, those are water-based creatures. The Oceanids are monstrous infantry that are pretty much designed to take the blunt force
海洋元素的怪物，
of enemy attacks, and with
这什么玩意
Thunder,
儿
as, them being made out of water, they are highly resistant to
啊
certain types of damage.
鸡头，
I do suggest
这他妈是奸奇 AOS 里奸奇的无尽法术吧 ？Hello，
to bring some magic attacks against them if you
码
want to be
头一个
fighting
鸡
them.
头
And the Sea Elemental himself is also kind of this big monstrosity.
这他妈是找 AOS 最近的那个无尽法术来改的吧？我的妈呀，
That is
什么东西啊？
extremely good against enemy infantry. Also having that
海精灵的那个
special
野兽
resistance
那个
being
manifestation，
made out of pure water. We've made some incredible animations for it, for all of them, to make sure that they really stand out on the battlefield. And I really can't wait for you to see them in action, because they can look quite amazing. This is not all. With this being a whole nautical team, one of the and
航海主题表
one of the important
有点意思啊。
we wanted to do is to add the new Mist Mage type of hero, which is a hero
迷雾法
that brings with him a completely new lore of magic.
我操，新法系，高金还能再出第10种法系？
With that
迷
being
雾
the
法
lore of mists. Lores in the Warhammer universe can manipulate the winds of magic in different ways. So what you can expect from this lore is to have
哎，别真的，这个森林系的法术还没有出呢，木金的森林法还没出，这个高金有了高等法之后，还要来一个迷雾法。
a bit of a supportive caster that is able to buff up
海精灵
your
崛起
ranged units specifically quite well.
强化远程，
Allow your units to move through the shadows, gain stealth, surprise enemies, open up
我操，
completely
这个法照上这个
battlefield
手势
tactics as
好
you
开心
play,，while also
好潮。
debilitating some of the enemies, and even summoning a unit of Oceanids out of nowhere just to block an enemy charge or just have them wherever you need on the battlefield. It's going to be a really great new way of playing with magic with the High Elves, and we are excited for you to see all the effects and how we've managed to make those spells come to life.
It's pretty cool, really, like, because High Elves are so associated with magic, and now they've got their own bespoke lore there to play around with. It should be really cool. And I think when you combine that with the
你们考虑把高等法加强一点好不好？
Aisling and commanding the seas, we really spent a lot of time and effort to try and do a little bit more there. So yes, you will be able to see ships attacking ports from the sea rather than them hopping off onto land and turning into a.
我操！军队可以从就黑方舟嘛，他妈的嘚瑟半天。
Things that we were looking at the other day was, to me, it almost felt like an aircraft carrier because Aisling was jumping off of the sea, flying over there with his sky cutter, besieging a little settlement inland. Yeah, it felt very thematic, shall we say?
Yeah, a mist mage mounted on top of a sky cutter, just masking all the other troops that are moving through the ground and attacking the enemies when they're.
好，那不就是 AOS 海精灵的风格吗？他妈的一个法师召唤出了以太海，然后他妈的一堆乱七八糟的东西都冲了出来。
Least expecting it. That can be quite an awesome feeling.
Mist magic buffing archers stacks nicely with Aisling's ability to buff archers.
Yeah, those things can stack quite a lot and provide a very interesting way of dealing with enemies.
From far away, I love it.
That sounds amazing. I'm really looking forward to Skycutter. That sounds like a chef kisses. With this update, we have revisited some plans for Slaanesh and Norska. But what have you updated and what else you are working on?
We're working on quite a few different things at the moment. For Slaanesh, we're just doing a general pass of things like techs, buildings, all the good stuff that people enjoy and do. We think they're in a pretty good state at the moment, but obviously you at home can tell us otherwise. But yeah, we are looking at things around cults and if we can do any improvements there. Again, things around unholy manifestations. So just trying to tighten up what we've got there as the core experience. But we are adding some cool little nuggets to the DLC itself.
Yeah, we are adding a new unit to Slaanesh, which is actually going to be Dark Elves that are devoted to Slaanesh, and that's why they have been shunned away from the other Dark Elf factions. And we're talking about the devotees of Slaanesh. They're going to be a very good anti-GW with 2 swords. That are going to be very dangerous on the battlefield. We are also adding a variant that is wielding crossbows as well. So Slaanesh is going to get
双剑和弩兵的色孽补兵种。
They need to. We're also doing a lot of other updates for other factions like Norska. We're doing an update on the monster hunts by adding a bunch of new monsters that you can
Monster Hunts 它确实需要很多的更新，
you hunt monsters,
不管是 Monster Hunts 还是 Monster Hunter，
regionally specific, depending on if you are somewhere in the desert or up in the mountains or somewhere in the Empire lands, you are going to encounter different types of monsters. And after hunting those big nasties, you are going to receive some interesting trophies that unlock different abilities that you can then use in battle to dominate your enemies. This is not all we're doing for Norska. We do want to have their identity of this faction that goes around the world to pillage. And so, yeah, we're doing updates there.
We were trying to picture in our minds that the entire process of, the Norskans coming and marauding and taking spoils away. So we're trying to figure out an interesting and engaging way to portray this sort of a logistics around the loot from someone's poor settlement, likely an empire settlement. One more thing about Norskans and Sail in particular, because this is something that might be interesting to our players, is when you get Sail, you in fact get every Norskans unit, right, Mircho?
Yeah, that's correct. Even though Norska was originally a DLC faction, if you get the Sail faction pack,
就你只买 Sail 包的话，不用买
the units that
不用买原版的那个
the Mammoths
诺斯卡那2个人的包。
So you can really feel like a Norskan.
Yeah, that's right. But if you want to play as Wolfic or Throg, you're still going after the original DLC to have fun with them, and they're getting some updates and improvements too as well. So Throg's getting some content around being the king of trolls, which you might have heard about before, and obviously
巨魔王、强化巨魔、欧弗瑞克应该会搬家，然后不一样的
around the world. So
全球传送机制。
Yeah, can't wait for Seafang specifically.
Speaking of Sail, is there anything specific in the works for him?
Well, Sail is still this kind of cunning and manipulative character that can surprise his neighbors and his friends, let's say, with underhanded actions.
And as we mentioned about Aislinn, as Todor says, he does get his own narrative as well. So all three characters now have that as a part of their.
对，战役传奇拍戏的机制要讲一个故事，然后有养成性，然后给一个目标，有一个发展的目标和一个剧情。我觉得这个方向对了。
Oh, that's very nice. I bet our community is going to be really excited about that. Do we have anything prepared for the Kala?
Yeah, we've been going a little bit back to the drawing boards on her. Her experience wasn't quite right, wasn't quite
这个也要重做。
I mean, she's a brutal character. She's wielding 6 swords, so she's there to do business, and she's going to be doing that now through the campaign, through a feature around decadence, where her goal is essentially to create these really opulent pleasure palaces, and to do that, she's going to be using the thralls of the regions to sort of help create and build those, whether that's come from her war pits or from her thrall camp. So she's a really tough and brutal kind of a character. Well, windmilling and causing destruction throughout the world, and that's her focus.
Yeah, you've already seen some of her animations in battle, and she's really a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. And again, as I said with Sail, she'll have her narrative flow as well, leading up to that. Maybe not everyone is happy with how she does business.
Yeah, but the LDR, she means business. And that's it for today. We hope that you are as excited about the new content as we are. High Elves and Aislinn, new units, Lore of Mist, and of course updates for all 3 factions. Massive thank you to our developers, Todor, Rich, and Melcha, and of course everyone who is currently watching this at home or maybe on a bus. We, of course, are doing, as you know, live streams, so go check our Twitch and YouTube. You can make sure to go down to the description box below, find all of the information about that. And, of course, while you're there, check out our socials, because if you do that, you will find out everything that there is about upcoming news on 7.0 and, of course, Tides of Torment. Go to the comment section, tell us everything that you are excited about, and of course, show some love to our gang and everyone else who is currently working very, very hard to bring this DLC for you and get it in your hands. Thank you, and bye!
最后这一段套话实在是有点长啊。OK， 总结一下艾斯林、天斩者、海元素。迷雾法没了，然后新机制，资讯密度真的是太低了，我只能说，我觉得传奇派系的特点做的有到方向上，然后这个海洋元素做的是挺酷的，我确实没想到高金还能出这种东西哈，真的有点小惊喜，就这个动画啊，这个应该是个怪部吧？他说 Monsters Infantry。应该是怪物还是巨兽，说不定可能都有。就这个还是挺期待它的特效效果的。哇哦，你看看这个，我好喜欢这个。对，还挺期待的。海洋表，没想到。然后除此之外，感觉也没有什么特别惊喜的东西啊。色孽的2个新单位，就暗金的信徒吧，就是狂信徒单位，就是相当于是凡人狂信徒单位，然后有一个近战哥，有一个远程哥。就如果能拿着暗金的那个高破甲的弩，那色孽确实偏凡人的色孽拍戏啊，迪哈拉。他就可以玩那种扛射表，确实，有点意思。就因为传言 FLC 是个均分嘛，你均分不可能再做，就均分应该是做混合表， 对吧？难说啊，都难说。行了，那感谢大家，这期影片就到这边啊，欢迎大家一起交流一下看法，期待什么的。那这个 DLC 就10月底再见了，拜拜。